Welcome to the maths class. So we have this triangle in 3D, and then we have C, B, D, and from there we need to find or intercept different triangles. So we have two triangles joined together, so that's angle X, and then we have a BDC, which is Y, so that's a BDC, and we have so we have Y there. And next we have DCB, which is theta, so it's DCB, so that's the angle there, that is theta. And then next we have the distance DC, which is K, and then that is K, so DC is going to be K. And that's the information. Now we are required to express P in terms of dB and X. So expressing P in terms of dB and X, what we have to do, we know that we have the angle X, and then dB and X, so we use 10, that's 10x. So there's a right angle on the triangle 8dB, so 10x is going to be opposite over adjacent. So opposite over adjacent, our opposite is P, and our adjacent to the angle X is dB. So that's we have expressed that in the requirements, in terms of the requirements they wanted. So the other thing that we have to do, because we need to transform to the other triangle, so we will have to cross multiply. So that we have P, so that P is going to be 10x, that's going to be dB 10x. So that's our expression. But also knowing that, okay, so P is equals to dB times 10x. So that's how they wanted us to express it. And the other thing is that we know that we will need to use the common part, so we need to solve also for dB. So therefore dB is going to be 10x over P. So we will need to use that later in the future. Should be required to simplify or prove that on the problem 5.2. That's our answer for 5.1. And then next we need to move on to 5.2. 5.2, we have DBC, so that's our DBC there, that angle there. That angle is going to be equivalent to 180 degrees minus the other two angles. So we have angle Y plus angle theta, and then we can see that from the bottom we use let's use cosine rule. So sine rule. So let's use sine rule. So sine rule will mean that we have sine dBc. Okay, so that'll be sine dBc. So dBc sine that over k is equals to sine theta over, so what is opposite theta? That's dB. Okay, so that's dB. So those are the angles that we'll be working with. And we also have to find out what those values are. So it's going to be sine 180 degrees minus bracket y plus this angle there, so y plus theta. Alright, then over k, and that will be equivalent to sine theta over dB. And then from there we have to draw the cast rule. So the cast rule, where we have all trigs identities, we have sine, tan and cosine, and then we have 90 degrees there at the due north, and we have 0 degrees or 360 degrees due east. and then 180 degrees due west, and then 270 degrees due south. And then 180 minus, so you can see that it's a plus as it moves to the sine. Okay, so it's a plus there. And then from there, so it's gonna be sine bracket y plus theta, all of that, plus theta, all of that over k is equals to sine theta over, it's gonna be sine theta over dB. Then from there we are required once again to solve for dB. So our dB there, remember that we already solved for that. dB is p over 10x. So we have to break the sum of angles. So sine theta plus sine y plus theta over k is equals to sine theta over, so we substitute dB, is gonna be p over 10x, and then that will give us let's say sine, we break that, so that is going to be sine y, okay, sum of angles. So use the sum of angle equation, sine y cos theta plus cos y sine theta. Okay, so that is, we're adding the two angles using the double angles equation. So that's going to be sine theta, sine theta 10x over p. Alright, and then from there we have we cross multiply. So cross multiplication will give us p bracket sine y cos theta plus cos y sine theta, and all of that cross multiplying give us k sine theta 10 theta. Then from there we also have to solve for p. So p is going to be k sine theta 10x all over sine y cos theta plus cos y sine theta. Okay, so that's what they required us to prove. So that is proved in 5.2. Now moving on to the next question. Next question we have BC to the nearest meter if x is equals to 51.7 degrees. So that's what we have there. We have those angles there, and then we have angle BCD, and then angle x we have P. So we should work together. So finding out this BC, we'll need to find BD. So in triangle, we have in triangle ABD. We know that we have sine x over P is going to give us sine A over BD. Now let's go find what our sine A is. Remember that x, okay, let's look, we have x there and then we have P in that side, so A, okay, so those we have, what will be equivalent of angle A. So finding angle A first. Angle A is going to be 180 degrees minus 90 degrees plus x. So that will mean we have 180 minus 90. So that's gonna be 180 degrees minus 90 degrees, then minus, so let's find of x is 51.7 degrees, and all of that gives us 38.3 degrees. Then from there we're gonna use sine rule once again. So we have sine A, sine A, which is sine 51.7 degrees over 80 degrees, which is our P. Our P is 80 degrees, is equals to sine 38.3 degrees. That is A. So our A over dB. So we need to find the value of dB so that we can use cosine rule to crack the problem. So dB multiplied by sine 51.7 degrees is equals to 80 multiplied by sine 38 degrees 38.3 degrees. And then solving for dB, so multiply both sides by 51.70 and then sine 51.70 degrees. That cancels that, so it will give us the value of let's just simplify that first. That dB is equals to 80 degrees multiplied by sine 38.3 degrees all over sine 51.7 degrees, and that gives us the equivalence of 49.58 meter. So that's the length for dB. So we have dB, and then we are required to find BC, and then we have the angle there, y, and then we know that k value is given, so we're going to use cosine rule. So the cosine rule, BC is the nearest meter. We have BC squared is going to be dB squared plus k squared minus 2 dB bracket k cos y. Alright, so cos y, so dB is 49.58 squared, and then we have k squared. K is let's look over here. K is 95 meter, so we're going to have 95 squared minus 2 times 49.58 multiplied by 95, and that will be cos our y value. Okay, let's go check for y value. Y is 62.5 degrees, so that's going to be 62.5 degrees. Then from there we have that, so 49.58 squared will give us plus 95 squared will give us 11,483.18, and that 2 times 49.58 times 95 times cos 62.5 gives us 4349.76. So calculating for BC will be the root of, so 11,483 minus 4,349 will give us 7,100 33.24. So root of that will give us 84.46 meters. So let's say to the nearest meter. So the nearest meter will mean that we round off. So rounding off 84.46 gives us 84 meter. So that's our final answer. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe or follow. Thank you.